G'day. Options and alternatives can be the enemy of progress. Today I want to share a bit of a positive message with this negative statement, because right now there's a fair amount of doom and gloom in the world, obviously, and rightly so. A lot of people have lost jobs, lost businesses, losing housing, so it's a pretty dire situation for a lot of people, and a lot of people don't necessarily see a way out of it. They don't see what the alternatives are, what their options are, what are their choices to progress out of this thing. But when you understand for just a minute that oftentimes it is exactly those alternatives and those options and those choices which hinder our progress. It is those choices and alternatives and options that stand in the way of us making a decision and really fully 100% committing to a certain path. Because when you have an option, when you have an alternative, well, if this thing doesn't work out, it doesn't matter so much. So I think, and look, it's an easier statement to make if you're one of the lucky few that hasn't lost a job and still in a relatively good situation. But for those that aren't, I think if you understand for a moment that it's the lack of choices and it's the lack of options that might actually be your strength, that might actually become your superpower if you harness it that way. And I know, look, it's easier to say, and I almost didn't want to say this one today, but I do think there's a lot of value in that statement, that it's the options and alternatives that often stand in the way of our progress. So with no options, no alternatives, then we have no option, literally, but to find a way. So try and harness that and use that as your superpower. And I actually honestly believe that over the next 6 to 12 to 18 months, we're going to see a hell of a lot of progress in a hell of a lot of areas for exactly that reason. Someone's come up with a new alternative, a better way of doing things than what we had before because they had no alternative, they had no choice. Just a thought. Alrighty, that is it for today. I do thank you for your time, and I will be back again tomorrow. See ya.